These dogs that are part of the dog squad are the first line of defense between their human partners and dangerous criminals. These dogs are motivated by a combination of instinct, training, and perhaps a love of their partner.
In terms of professional partnerships, police rely very much on dogs to assist them in difficult situations. They are able to follow suspects and bring them to ground until the police officer is able to arrive at the scene. I think there's something there in that relationship between the police dog and the individual policeman. You know, that police officer takes the dog home, and there's a very strong bond there that work is based on.
Traditionally, canine handlers are one-man units. Their only partner, their only backup is their dog. They rely on that dog 24 hours a day. And one of the reasons we use German Shepherds predominantly in policing is their loyalty to their master. And these dogs will go to all ends to protect their masters. And they become a very important part of the family. And that translates to the work environment. When you're out there and you're searching a building, you're the front line. There's between you and the bad guy is the dog, and the dog's the one who's going to contact that person first, and he's your first recourse for action in case that suspect comes against you. And you're relying a lot on your dog to give you the heads up for any danger that's ahead.
That bond, combined with years of training, saved Sergeant McQuiness's life on the night he and his dog Prince responded to what they thought was a routine call.
We walked up the back steps of this residence, and I noted that the window in the kitchen door at the rear was smashed out. There was a stove light on in the kitchen, and all I could see was two males kneeling down on the floor over another male. The two males that were kneeling over the male both had balaclavas on, which really gets your heart racing. And one of them had a shard of glass that I presume was from the door, and he was in the process of stabbing this male victim on the floor. So I just stepped back, I kicked the door open, and I sent my dog in first, because the two suspects had seen me and were now running towards the front of the house. As I sent the dog in, he got onto the linoleum floor, and there was a big pool of blood from the victim, and the dog couldn't get his footing. And I managed to get by him while he was trying to get his footing, because I wanted to get the one suspect who was just about to the front door. The other one had disappeared somewhere, and I found out later he'd gone down a hall. I got to the suspect at the front door, and I had him at gunpoint at the door, and the second suspect had circled back around down this hallway and was coming up behind me with this same shard of glass. And then all I saw before I could even react was my dog Prince in full flight took the suspect by the upper arm. Thankfully, the arm that had the shard of glass in it took him right over the couch and onto the floor. And he controlled that suspect while I managed to get this other one handcuffed. So in that situation, I was in there alone, but I had my dog who responded through training to what he was taught to do. And to this day, that dog saved my life, because I had never seen what was coming from behind.
Sergeant McQuiness worked with Prince for 7 years when sadly Prince died of cancer. McQuiness has been training police dogs for 12 years. And the training required to prepare these dogs is extensive and intense.
Okay, you're going to be doing your call off just as the dog's coming to me, so it's going to be your verbal command, my hand signal. Now we're training the dogs, as you see here today, on their natural instinct, what we call prey drive, and to have a dog stop in mid-flight after chasing his prey is a very hard thing to train. These dogs are weapons, just like my firearm is, and we're responsible for how we apply our dogs. And if we're chasing a suspect and that suspect decides to give up, he can't outrun the dog, we aren't justified in making an apprehension in the sense of using the dog. The dog must be called off and taken into control.
Controlling a 90-pound German Shepherd requires knowledge and skill and begins when the dog is just a puppy. Today, Sergeant McQuiness is training a new young dog, Nitro. He'll have to develop the kind of bond with Nitro that he once had with Prince.
It's another challenge for me to raise a pup from 8 weeks of age and bring him right up and have him graduate out of a dog training program and then transition and go out and work the street. And once he catches his first criminal, I know I'm going to be very excited and very happy. He means everything to me right now, and everywhere I go, he goes, and that's the way I treat my dogs, and every other handler I know does. Nitro looks like a wonderful dog. We'll probably never know what percentage is love and what percentage is training in the actions of those dogs. But I can tell you, we do know we don't want one of them mad at us, do we? Coming up,